see the meter moving, but it's very low. So can we turn it up somehow? Can you hear me? But it's very low. So can we turn it up somehow? Okay, hang on. Can you hear me? It's in a loop and I can't stop it. I turned the microphone off and I muted it on this end. It's in a loop and I can't stop it. All right. Sorry, I had my phone on. I thought the volume was down and it wasn't. That was a horrible sound. All right, can anybody hear me now? Let me come back over here and check the audio levels. This has been an adventure. All right, it looks like there's still sound. Now let me go back to the chat. Let me move this over so I can see the picture and then see if I can find the chat box, the chat window. Let's see. It's not there. Okay, so I can't watch it that way. I'm gonna have to watch it on my phone, I guess. I don't know. Sorry. Hi. Take a breath. How is everyone tonight? Are you guys still here? That was some horrible feedback going on right there. Let's see. All right, everybody says they can hear me. Then there's feedback. Mute the laptop. Sorry, Sharon. I think I'm deaf now. Everything is good. All right. All right. Whew. Thank you. Sorry you guys had to do that. Okay, so we'll start with some good news. Chris found a sweet deal on a used laptop. So he got a new laptop and where's the camera on this thing? I think maybe it's right up here. Let's see. It must be right there in the middle. Okay. So I got his old laptop, so now I have a dedicated laptop to use for editing and for live streaming, but obviously I don't know how to work it yet. I thought it was just like, just click and go like I do on the iPad or the phone, and no, it was not. So, but we're here, and you guys hung in through it. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so Anne just planted about 10 tomatoes. Good on you. My husband's there telling me advice. Okay, so who is still here with us? I see we've got 5 people in the house. Yay for Elizabeth. Thank you for joining from Little Farm Big Dreams. Anne, Luke, Sharon, Beaver Creek Farm Life, hello. Texas Rancher, and I think that's everybody. All right. Thanks for popping in tonight, y'all. It's going to be a fun day. So I've done this once in a while. Have any of you been in my live life advice? Live life advice, Lorella's life advice videos before. So it's kind of fun. So basically, you type in the chat a question, put it in all caps if you don't mind. Oh, I need this way so I can see it. Let me see if I can stick it somewhere where I can read it and kind of not lose eye contact with you guys too much. And basically, okay, so I see Sharon's just coming over from Natalie from the video that I uploaded yesterday. So 2 things. If you have not yet seen the video I uploaded yesterday titled In the Garden with Hey It's a Good Life, then after this live, please go watch it. I really feel like that's my best video that I've ever put up. I worked hard at it. I have spent the last 8 or 10 months learning how to edit all my own videos. Chris used to do them for me, and I've made significant improvement. So, and that is Chris, Plan B Orchard and Farm. That's my husband, and he's saying sorry for the tech issues. All right. So, second of all, when I come on my live, and I feel like I'm I still feel a little bit of that stress of the tech stuff because I was like, I can feel the tension in my body. So I'm going to take a minute and just breathe, relax, maybe slow down a hair. I feel like I'm rushing to catch up on the time we lost. On my live streams, I feel like you guys get to know me better than the people who watch my edited videos because we kind of hang out, and I like to just act like we're sitting together having a cup of coffee, chatting, hanging out like friends. And so sometimes I talk about things that I'm learning. I listen to a lot of like personal growth type stuff, and when I apply that to my life and I talk about that, I talk about my animals, my farming, what's going on with me. But every now and then I do this where I do Lorella's live life advice, and you get to just throw any questions at me. If you got relationship problems, financial problems, work problems, something you're trying to figure out, how are you going to reach your goals? Really the sky's the limit. You want to ask me about rocket science, you ask me anything you want. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm not a counselor. I don't claim to really be an authority on anything, but I'm going to just straight shoot and talk with you like I would if we were out to coffee and you were asking me for advice. So those of you who have been in these before will kind of know what they're like. And so if you have a question for me, then please put it in all caps, because then I can know you're talking to me and not chatting with other people in the chat. And I see we've had a few more people join us. So we're just getting started. We had some tech issues in the beginning. You guys, you 3 or 4 who came in the last few minutes actually came in at the perfect time. We have not had any questions yet for me, so I'm just kind of chatting and filling you in on what's going on. I see there's a thing about my shirt. It says, "We are God's handiwork," Ephesians 2:10. This is our girls ministry workers shirt. We have 2 on the back. It says, let me see if I can turn it around for you without showing you my rear end. It says girls ministry. And then we have another one that is pink that says, "Let them see Jesus in me," or something like that. So thank you all for joining in. And if you have a question for me, be sure and throw it up at any time that you want to talk, that you want some advice. What are you going through? What's going on in your life, guys? And I see we've got Stivers Homestead in the house and the Johnson family. And let's see. All right, so no questions for me yet. I'm glad you all are here. Some interesting news. Our Ava Bears high school baseball team is in the state quarterfinals. And they're playing tonight over near Joplin somewhere. They're playing a town called Fatima, I think, Fatima. And so that is going on. That's pretty exciting for our little small town. They're like, they come from behind, the Cinderella story type thing. So we're looking forward to see how they do tonight. What am I most excited to grow this year? All right. And then follow-up question by the same person, Elizabeth from Little Farm Big Dreams, says, "Are you doing a Back to Eden or a pottage English style garden?" Great questions. All right. Hey, Jay. Thanks for popping in. Okay, so that's 3 questions there. Or 2. What style garden am I doing, and what am I most excited to grow? So first of all, let's talk about what style garden. I'm doing 2 styles of garden. I'm doing a 3 Sisters garden, which will have corn, pole beans, and pumpkin or other squash in it. And I'm also doing more of an English style garden, like a kitchen garden, and I am redesigning the garden that I have. I had originally planned on having my 3 Sisters garden where we had our pigs this year, but because of the time crunch, I don't think I'm going to go that big with it. So what I've done is, those of you who have watched my videos before will know that I had a 50-foot by 25-foot, maybe 50 by 30 garden space last year with 20 different beds in it, 22 something. More of a row style garden with like 20 something different varieties of vegetables, and I was trying to grow for a CSA market or a market garden, and it was a lot of work. So this year I'm redesigning it, and I'm changing it into more of a kitchen garden, something that's going to have whimsy, that's going to be pretty, that I want to be in, and I'm going to focus on growing food that our family will eat and some to preserve. And then if I have extra, I will sell it to my egg customers. So what I'm going to do is today I actually got the black plastic out because, oh my gosh, you guys, we've had so much rain and I hadn't got anything in the garden yet. I hadn't got it covered. And when I came back to weeds like thigh high, the pasture is trying to reclaim my garden. At some point, I may end up doing fabric cloth like Kevin and Sarah do. They're not far from me because it wants to grow. The grass just wants to grow in the garden. And this is my probably third or fourth year in this spot. And I started with feed bags and straw, and then I've tilled it in, I've done different stuff. Last year I brought in new topsoil and I did like borderless raised beds. So basically I made mounds and I did it that way. But so I'm going to do, while I am doing like a kitchen garden style, I am still going to employ some back to Eden methods. So I will be mulching with wood chips. I have saved all my paper feed bags, which my husband is like not happy about because they're in the garage. And he's actually given me a deadline to get them out into the garden. So I'm going to work on that. So I am going to do kind of back to Eden English cottage kitchen garden. So I hope that answers your question. And I'm going to do it in the space. So I've expanded the 50-foot area into about a 75-foot, maybe 100-foot area. And I'm going to do half of it Three Sisters garden, and half of it is going to be the beginning of the kitchen garden. And we'll see where it goes from there. And then next year, if I really enjoy the Three Sisters garden and it turns out like I hope it will, then I'll probably move it down to where the pigs were. And then I'll also give a year for all the stuff that the pigs, all the pig manure and everything to really rot well, and the cow manure and stuff that's in there. Okay, so let me move on and see what else is going on. Your boys. I'm not sure what you mean, Elizabeth, by my boys. You have a question about them? Too much rain. We have had too much rain, and yes, we have indeed. Texas Rancher says, the weed block material I ordered arrived today. The weeds are loving all the rain. Yes. Yeah, it's good for the pastures. Except where we had a flood, we've got to go through and get all the debris out of the field. And Elizabeth says, I can't believe you've brought in so much over 3 years and still that grass and weeds keep coming up. Yeah, it is a pain. And I took a lot of video. I'm actually kind of red. Oh, let me see. You guys can see like right there. See the line on the side of my face? How red I am? That is not sunburn. That is overheated. I worked in the garden this afternoon. Probably an hour. It was more than an hour, maybe like 2.5 hours. And I kept going inside for water breaks. I made sure I stayed hydrated. I would go in and cool off. And it's just so hot. It was 85 degrees with, it feels like 89, but it was also just slightly humid. I'm just like, I don't know. I've been indoors too much over winter, I guess. I can feel the warmth in my face, but it is coming down. It was like bright red when I first got here. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. Luke asks, any advice on a cross-country move? Yes. So I see you're getting the advice from Jay. So I know that you've already got a house or a place here that you're moving to, so that's good. So coming from California, because I know I came from where you are, so I know the differences in the culture. I would say when you move here, tread lightly. And by that I mean if you move in, you're the newcomer coming in where even though a lot of people have moved into this area, most people in this town have lived here for generations, and lots of them are related to each other. In one of my daughter's high school classes one day, the teacher said, raise your hand if you're not related to anyone else in this room. Only 2 people raised their hand. One was her, and one was a foreign exchange student. Everybody else in that room was like, oh yeah, so my mom's cousin is her aunt. Or, they were like, everyone had at least one other person in the classroom they were related to. So when you come in humbly. I know we in the homesteading community, we want to do things organically. We want to come in, we want to change the way things are done. We want to heal the land. We want to, do all this stuff. And there's a lot of people here, the old timers, that have grown conventionally, and it worked for them, and it worked for their grandpa, and it worked for, the next generation. And so come in with a good attitude of being a good neighbor, give more than you take. The people here are really wonderful when you get to know them, and if you're a good neighbor and you have good neighbors, they'll do anything for you. But I would say, come in with an attitude of, yeah, I know I'm the new kid on the block, and I'm just here to learn and blend in. I'm not coming in to change your politics or change your minds or change your methods. I'm coming here because I value freedom like you do. I think that would be a good thing. Okay, so, and Luke, let me know if that's what you were asking, or if it's more like, I do have one other thing to say that I just came to mind. Things in the country go slower, and they go by a handshake and your word. So, for example, I don't know if you've ever had to get a storage unit in California, and you have to basically sign your life away and your firstborn son, and then a little drop of blood with your signature, and probably a deposit of a couple $100, right? So I moved in to my mom's house, and I told her I was going to need a small storage unit for the stuff that didn't fit her house. So she called the pastor and said, "Hey, do you know any good storage unit around here?" And he goes, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's one not far from you. It's actually it's pretty close. It's like 3 miles from my mom's house." And he goes, "Just a second." So he called the owner of it, and then he called my mom back, and he goes, "Yep, so here's the address to send your check to." The guy that owns it said, "Just pick a unit and put a lock on it. That'll be your unit, and it's $30 a month, and just send a check every month." I never signed a contract. I never met one person. I sent a check in. Sometimes I'd pay several months at a time. Sometimes I would pay 1 month at a time. I never got a bill. I just kept paying it. And then when I was done, after 2 years, we got our stuff out. I took my lock off, and I sent a letter and said, "That's my last payment. I'm done. I'm all out." To this day, I've never met the owner or anything. So things are done differently. When we went to get estimates on like digging the well or this or that, they would give you an estimate in writing, but I didn't sign one contract for anybody who worked on my house at all. So it's a very different environment. And in addition to that, people work on country time. So, like our electricians would be working, and then I'd come down at 11 and check in with them. They'd be like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to be here about another 15 minutes. Sufficient's good today, so we're cutting out at noon," that kind of thing. So it is very, very different and slower than the West Coast. So those are the couple things that I would advise you on your move. Let's see. Scrolling through to find other questions. How do you deal emotionally with kids growing up and becoming adults? Okay, so there's a couple parts to that I have found. One is, and I'm going through that right now. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I have a 19-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old daughter. And my 19-year-old daughter, after she graduated high school, she stayed with us and saved money, and then spent 3 months working at a children's camp in Africa, and then came back and then has stayed with us and has been working at the local nursing home, and is getting ready to leave to go to Kansas City to do an internship, a year-long internship at a church up there. My 17-year-old daughter just graduated, 2 weeks ago, and 2 Fridays ago, and she left 2 days later to go to Oklahoma. She's working all summer at a Christian camp as a lifeguard, and then in the fall she's going to Missouri University of Science and Technology to study aerospace engineering. Okay, so there's a couple things there. The leading up to that time, like the 17-year-old year, has been pretty tough for both girls because not necessarily tough for them, tough emotionally for all of us, because they are really feeling like, I'm almost 18, I'm an adult. They think they're grown, and we are still trying to navigate, like, we have had to make major decisions for you all your life, and now all of a sudden you want to make all the decisions in your life, and how to balance that. So that was kind of created a lot of tension in our home. And there was a point where I actually said to my 17-year-old, I said, "Look, I know you want your independence, and I know you think you're ready for it. And we hope that we have prepared you well for it. But it's tough because since the time you were this big, we had to take care of you every little thing. And slowly we've been giving you more and more decisions, but we're navigating it. This is new for us. It's not easy. So I think acknowledging the tension helped to relieve it. Acknowledging that, yes, you are almost there, and yes, we are having a hard time letting go, that helps. And then I have mixed feelings. I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, most of my friends, we had children late, so most of my friends were posting their, I'm so sad my baby's going to college, or graduating. I'm crying right now. And I was like, get over it. That's what you're supposed to do. They grow up, they leave. If they don't do that, you didn't do a great job of raising them. Like, they should want to explore the world and take that next step. Even if they stay with you, they should be productive adults who are involved in whatever. And then, my first one grew up. And then I felt a little differently. And now it's kind of tough. So it's these mixed emotions of, I'm excited to see where God leads them. I'm excited to see what life has in store for them. I'm excited to see them blossom into these young women who are independent, but I miss them desperately. I don't know if you guys know the movie Notting Hill. It's Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts, and there's a scene in it where they are apart, and Hugh's walking down the street where these shops are, they like market outside, and it's changing seasons, and then in the background is a song that's like, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And that's why I don't sing, because that's about the best you're gonna get. But I found that clip online, and I sent that to my daughter who's in Oklahoma, and I was like, this is me missing you. So I have found that a couple of things help. One is to remember that we raised them to make decisions. Like, whenever there was an issue that came up, we would ask questions like, what do you think is the best plan? Or, when we would watch movies and there were things going on, like, every Disney movie, the parents have no clue what's going on in their children's lives, and the kids are making stupid decisions and stuff. And so I would say, what do you think about that decision they're making? Do you think your dad doesn't know what's going on? Like, that dad doesn't know what's going on? And I would try and help them filter through what they're seeing, so hopefully they can internalize those things and make better decisions. And so we have raised them to be independent. They both have good work ethic. They both have held down jobs. They both have financial savvy, So, I mean, life is not easy for anyone, but I think they're as prepared as we could have made them, so that helps. And then the other thing that my friend said to me before Leslie went to Africa was, because she has a daughter who's a full-time missionary, and she said, the same God that you trust to keep your daughter safe when she crosses the street here in America is the same God that you're trusting to take care of your daughter on another continent. So you just have to decide, do you trust God or don't you? And for me, that was like, ooh, yeah, that is what I needed to decide. And so I decided, yes, I trust God. And I know that things happen, but things can happen wherever they are. So my hope is just that they will want to come home and visit, and that we get to be a part of their lives in a new way, and that we get to develop a new sort of relationship that's not so much parent-child, but adult to adult, more of a peer relationship. All right, that is so long of an answer, guys. I'm talking and talking. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Luke, I knew you were not looking to make waves. I just was wanting to I just was wanting to talk. Okay, so my friend Michael, I see your comment: tomato, basil, wheat fats, or fatiza. Fatiza, Michael and I have been friends and colleagues for a long time, and fatiza is what we call pizza because it's just fat Isa. It's not really pizza. If you have to choose, it depends if it's snack or dinner. Snack, tomato, basil, wheat fats every time. We also call them wheat fats instead of wheat thins because they're only wheat thins if you eat one serving, which we don't. Of course, we eat the whole box. Oh, that's hilarious. Thanks, Michael. You just made my day. All right, let's see. So much talking going on. Let's see. if you have a question for me, make sure that you have it in all caps. All caps. Um, let's see. All right. Okay, so I don't see that any other questions came in while I was off dialoguing, ranting. So does anybody else have any other live life advice questions? Yes, Sharon, she is a dear friend, and um, there are so many there are only so many people in my life that I would even turn to. And because I knew that she would be able to give me a good answer, and because her daughter lives in another country full time, so um, I knew she would know the feelings that I was feeling. Okay, let's see. Oh, so Jay wants to know about my tick bite. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I had a tick on my back for like over a day, and I it started getting the bullseye ring, which is a symptom of Lyme disease. So I was on a really strong round of antibiotics, and I'm absolutely fine. I have had no other symptoms since then, except some of the symptoms are things that I have. Um, Chris, that's a weird request. I don't know what you are wanting. My husband just sent me a text. Um, I Some of the symptoms of Lyme disease are like achiness in the joints, or like swelling in your lymph glands, or but like I'm like, oh, and fatigue. I'm like achy joints and fatigue, but I'm like almost 50. That's just part of life. I had that before I got bit. So no, nothing, no other symptoms. So I am well. Thank you for asking, Jay. I appreciate that. Um, oh, Chris is wanting me to show y'all where the tick bite was. I don't know if I can. It's like way back here on the middle of my back. I'd have to like lift up my shirt. I was on them for about 2 weeks, and I'm trying to remember which one, because it wasn't one of the Cillins, so like wasn't amoxicillin or one of those. Um, I forget. It was one I had never taken before, um, and it was 500 milligrams twice a day for 2 weeks. Um, and I don't remember the name of it. I would have to Google and find it. All right. So what else is going on in your life, guys? Chris asked what and how much. Was that in question to the medication, the antibiotics that I was on? I'm assuming those two questions go together. Somebody says, how do I keep from getting pregnant? Don't have sex. Nope, it wasn't doxycycline. It was something else that I haven't taken before. I forget what it was. And I don't think I still have the bottle. I'd have to look. I'll let y'all know if you really want to know, I can find it. Um, okay. What else? What else, guys? So let's see. So we talked about the garden, and we talked about Ava Bears. We talked about the new computer. So all of that is exciting. And I do want to mention again that if you did not see the video that I put out yesterday titled In the Garden with Hey, It's a Good Life, first of all, Natalie is a lovely, lovely soul. She was just charming, and her dreams are big, and I know that she's going to succeed, but she is starting small. She started her garden in an apartment, and then now she has a house with a backyard, and her garden is beautiful. We weren't in her garden, we met at a gardens, and we had a lot of time together to talk and really get to know each other. And I'm gonna just brag and say it's the best video I've ever put out that I edited myself. um, all right, so Jay, yeah, well, you have the appointment tomorrow, But the good thing is, if it's a tick bite and if it is Lyme or looks like Lyme, and it responds really well to antibiotics. So try not to be nervous about that. And thank you. I loved that video too. So I'm going to keep talking about it. Let's see what else. Let's see, we have about 20 minutes left. And I'm trying to think of what else I could talk about. I talked about the girls. We talked about gardening a little bit. I am going to, I started to say breed the rabbits. I'm going to put the rabbits together to breed each other. So probably do that in the next week or two, which means then I'm going to have to get some nesting boxes and build some grow out tractors. So that's coming up. And let's see. So we'll have bunnies. Uh-oh, it looks like I froze. Oh, I'm back. Okay. We will have bunnies probably in about a month. We also, we believe our cows are pregnant. Our heifers are pregnant. So we have calves coming sometime this fall. And there's a knock at the door. Let's see who's here. Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to take a look for a second.
Sure, not a problem. Okay, no worries. That's one of the ministry team leaders wanted to take a look at the nursery. So the rabbits are all doing well. They have survived the storms really well. My rabbitry, so those of you who haven't seen it, you might want to go back and watch my rabbitry videos. I built it out of a dog kennel and cattle pennels and tarps. So we had it pretty secure, but there was like one broken spot on the front of the tarp, and the wind just kept blowing, and then another one popped off and another one popped off. So now the whole top front is not connected. So Chris is going to order a tool, and I'm going to fix that. But despite that, I mean, yesterday, I don't know if you guys know, but we had tornadoes touch down in this area yesterday. We had, I think there were 6 in Ava, Mansfield, Hartville, and like surrounding areas. Like 6 different tornadoes touched down. So super strong winds. We clocked one wind last weekend at 41 miles an hour, and my rabbitry is still standing, and the rabbits are nice and dry inside. So I am very happy about that. Oh, hey guys, you know what? I want to tell you the story that happened. So it'll come out in a video in a couple days, or probably Saturday when I get to it. But anyway, I was working in the garden today, and it's just covered in weeds, and I walked over to this one plant, and I go, huh, that looks like it might not be a weed, but I don't see any like fruiting things on it, no buds or anything. It's like, I don't know what this is. And I pulled it, and it had little tiny potatoes. It was a potato plant that self-propagated from where I had them 2 years ago at the end of the garden where my squashes were last year. Last year I had my potatoes completely at the other end. So if you guys remember that video where I was digging the potato bed and that little mole thing ran out between my legs and frightened me and I screamed so much, that spot is growing potatoes again. So I dug a hole, stuck them back in, and then I mulched around it. So fingers crossed for a potato harvest. All right. Let's see. Well, Jay, I can't really lock people out because it's, it's a church room. It's not like it's my house or something. So I just have to let people come in when they need to. All right. What else? What else, guys? So still not a farm girl. That, and I didn't know that artichokes were a flower. Did you guys know that? So who raise your hand, give me a little hand or a heart or a thumbs up in the chat if you know what artichokes look like when they're growing, like what the plant looks like. Because in my head, artichokes grew kind of like lettuce or cabbage near the ground. Is that what you think they look like when they're growing? Let me know. What do you guys think they look like? Who has seen one before? I know Sharon and Jay know because they saw my video yesterday. If you want to know what artichokes look like growing in the ground, then you could you could watch my video from yesterday because I found out. Oh, right, Jay, I see what you're saying. Also, so here's another little bit of country life. People help people. And today, while I was working outside, this car came in my driveway, and it was a young woman who had got a flat on the dirt road, and so she pulled into my driveway, and um, so she asked if she could use our air compressor to blow the tire up, or air it up, not blow it up, not explosion, but air it up. And I said, was it a slow leak? Because she had said that she ran over a rock and then it went flat. And she's like, no, I kind of like, psh. And I go, well, I don't know what airing it up will do that much good because it's like 15 miles to town. I don't know. I'd hate for you just to go another, you know, quarter mile and then be stuck somewhere. So we tried getting her tire off ourselves because I figured I could take her into town to the tire shop and they could fix it, or she could buy a new one there. We couldn't get it off. So finally, we called the tire shop in town, and she was just thinking about having her car towed there. And she's like, how much is it going to cost to have it towed? And so the guy said, well, I can come fix it where you are. And he quoted our price for a service call and fixing it, and it wasn't bad. So she's like, that sounds good. Let's do that. So I got her a camp chair and a glass of ice water, and we hung out together till they came. Um, yeah. So that kind of thing is going to happen where people just turn in your driveway. One time my brother and my mom were driving, and he lives in Seattle, so he's very much city like I was. And she's like, oh, wait, pull in here, pull in this driveway. And he's like, what? She goes, I'm going to ask that guy if he's selling those barrels out there. And Josh was like, you want me to just pull in? Do you know him? She goes, no, just pull in already. And he's like, okay. And he felt really weird stopping at somebody's house just because they have stuff stacked in their yard to ask him if it was for sale. And it was, though. And that's just kind of how people are here. They're a little bit more neighborly. And also, we have creeks on our property. And kind of tradition among the old timers is that you can go swim in people's creeks if it's near a road, if it's even not. Sometimes like people cross fences to hunt, and they cross fences to um, swim in the creeks. And like we would have people when we were first building our house, like a guy drove up in our driveway, Rick, and he came to the door, and he has to talk to me. And when I was living at my mom's, and he's like, yeah, I just went down and walked through your house down there, it looks pretty. And I'm like, you walked through my house that's under construction? Like in my head I'm like, who does that? And then comes and talks about it. Apparently they do around here. Like it's just, especially the old timers, there's a real sense of community, and everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows everybody's business too. Um, let's see, Chris, we are in zone 6B. That's correct. We have about 10 minutes left. So if anybody has any other burning questions, I'll be happy to talk. Nobody had anything super pressing, but it was fun. It was a fun discussion. These are always kind of fun for me because I get to just kind of share my opinion on life with everybody. You can just take it or not. It's the same thing I would tell you if you were here. Here, I started saying at my house. I'm not at house right now. I'm at church. Um, and let me get back down to the bottom. So yeah, so that's just kind of the way things are here. So it's different. It takes getting used to. Um, but like I said, it's people are good to each other. Oh, Jay. Okay. If you want to come to the Ava Farmers Market, you can set up, and I think it only costs $2. And you just show up and you just ask them who the person is that's taking the money, and you just back your vehicle up and they'll tell you where to park. So you can like buy a seasonal spot if you're going to come every week, like Kevin and Sarah do, or you can just show up. So people do that. And you can also Facebook Marketplace, I think would be better than Craigslist. But you have to find like there's Facebook groups that are like Missouri Rabbit something. I'm actually a member of one. If you want to, I can add you to it. I see stuff in there all the time for people selling bunnies. All right. And then Grizz270 says, do you know about growing hot peppers? My Carolina Reapers have a yellow leaf habanero are fine. I do not know much about growing hot peppers except that they need hot weather. But, are not fine. Or are fine, not a fine. Yeah, I read it as are fine. I don't know much about growing them other than they take hot weather. But Little Farm Big Dreams, who's also in the live chat, at least she was a while ago, Elizabeth, she gardened in Arizona for several years, and she does grow hot peppers, so you might check with her. And you could also, Kevin and Sarah, I know, do hot peppers too. All right, guys. Hey, look, it's my friend Julie. Hi, thanks for stopping by. You are just getting in right here at the end of this live chat. So basically the format for anyone who joined later is usually I have a subject that I talk about on my lives, but sometimes I just say, ask me anything. And I'm not an expert. I don't claim to know a lot, but I'll just talk to you like we're sitting down having coffee, and I'll shoot straight and tell you what I think. All right. So anybody else with a question? We've got about 7 minutes left. Get your last questions in. How do you get rid of slugs in the garden? Um, Ducks. If you have plants that are a pretty good size and not little babies, your ducks will do a good job of keeping slugs out of the garden. They love to eat them. Second thing is people make traps with beer in it. The slugs are apparently drawn to beer. And I don't know about, for some reason, I'm thinking there's something about salt or Epsom salts too. But I don't know those methods. But I know ducks and um, beer, traps with beer. They use like a vinegar bottle or something, and they make it so the slugs can fall in it and then they can't get out, but they're apparently attracted to it. I don't know why. I don't like the smell of it. Um, did I get any damage from the storm this week? Yes, and not really. When we had that real strong wind on Saturday, it tipped our duck house up on end, and Mama had a nest that she had started collecting eggs in it. She wasn't sitting on it yet, but all 8 of her eggs fell out and cracked. And there were not any chicks or anything, it was just egg yolks. But so now she's starting over. Um, let's see. And then, I would like to know, because I'm using the new laptop, or not new, but hand-me-down laptop from my husband. How is the sound? I'm using an app called Wirecast. How's the sound? How's the picture? To me, the picture looks better than when I did it on my phone or iPad, but how's the sound and everything? So if you guys could let me know, is it good? And because I probably could get an external mic. We probably have one at home if I need one. But if it's good just using the internal mic, it will be easier to transport just the laptop. All right. So yeah, so Jason, so I'm hearing sound is good. All right, audio and video are both good. Good. Chris says he's hearing a popping sound. Anybody else hear a popping? Although I do have to say that Chris worked in the television industry for over 20 years, and so he is probably, his ears are more attuned to that kind of thing. All right, nobody else is hearing it, Chris. So I don't know if it's something on the device you're listening to or if it's just something that only your ears hear because of your training. All right, it is 6:11, and if there are no further questions, then I'll be saying goodbye to you guys. And I will let you guys say goodbye to each other in the chat, and then I'll be closing off. And Chris, you might have to take control of the screen because I don't know what button to end the thing. The green one, the same one that I started it with. All right, so Sharon says she does hear the popping. Um, so that's interesting. So some people are hearing it and some not. I don't know what the difference would be. Okay. And Chris says, yeah, I'm going to end it the same way I started it. All right, so that works. All right. Goodbye, everyone. If you wouldn't mind on your way out hitting that thumbs up, that's always nice. Hey, Hamilton Farm is popping on at the end. I have not touched the keyboard, so I'm not touching anything. My hands are free, so I don't know what you're hearing. Yeah, but you can go back and watch it on the replay. Thank you for dropping by. And K&A's Family Home said, oh, we're just getting ready to end. Thank you for stopping by, though. I'm glad you're here. And be sure, I still have like a couple minutes. If you've got a burning question, go ahead and ask, and I will just wrap it up as quickly as I can. You just got the notification. What? Oh man, that's a bummer. I'll stay a couple extra minutes for you guys. I can push it a little while if you want to. If you have any questions, I'm willing to. Sorry, I was looking for my soda. Is this my natural hair color? Oh, what a good question. 42 is an answer to everything, Chris says. Okay, so which color? This much right here, that's natural. Let's see. Turn towards the camera this way. So right there you can see. I can't, that dark part, that's probably my natural color now. And gray. I have a lot of gray that doesn't really show up much on camera, but when I look in the mirror, I see it, especially at the temples. Maybe you can see it right here. I have a lot of gray right here at the temples. So all this undergrowth, that's all natural. And then the reddish and the blonde are not. That is a box from Walmart. And it's like, I think I usually get like RB6 or something, like a red brown color is what I normally put on it. All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping in tonight. I'm going to log off and have a good week. And hopefully, now that I'm back home, videos will be out Saturday, Monday, and then live on Wednesdays. And if you didn't see it, please go watch the video that I uploaded yesterday called In the Garden with Hey, It's a Good Life. It's a really good video. Y'all should meet her. And my hair, when I was growing up, it was like a dirty blonde, but the older I've gotten, the darker it's gotten. So now it's more like a light brown color. In the sun will change it. My hair has a lot of natural variations in it. You're fascinated with my hair. You're cracking me up. All right, bye-bye all.